all of these South African kids just started rapping, singing, all like it was just a vibe.
You can deal with somebody that's not in the industry as opposed to somebody that's in the industry?
I could. Can they deal with it? Everybody wants to know how many Grammys I got or how many number ones I've worked on. I was just a black girl from DC trying to get out of DC. Music is one way to inspire people, but being out in the community and actually changing people's lives is a whole nother way. My biggest challenge is I dealt with hypersexuality, or I dealt with discrimination.
What were your challenges dealing with this industry that's male dominated?
Yeah. Dime lo que, you already know what it is, man. Podcast Central, Coastal Chronicles NYC. I'm your boy, Tank Sinatra, a.k.a. Taino Domingo. You know the lingo. Call me anything but late for dinner because I love to eat. As always, I got the activation king to the left of me. Dren Star, talk to the people, man.
Yes, what's going on? You know, we in the Duce Lounge. We fully activated. Yo, I got a question for you, though.
I'm listening.
Because we always ask the guest questions. Is that intro ever gonna change, or you just gonna run with that? That's your staple.
Listen, you want to know why it's a staple? I'm gonna say why it's a staple, brother. Because we live in a generation where people love to hate, right?
Okay.
We live in a generation where people love to say shit. So guess what? I say you could call me anything but late for dinner because I could give a fuck about what you say about me.
Heard you. So you love to eat.
I do. I'm not gonna say what I love to eat, but
you know what I'm saying. Anyway, we in the Duce Lounge. Shout out to the sponsor, of course, Big Duce Vibes, Rock Nation, Paper Planes. We here, what we doing. We got a special guest. All our guests is special because it's invite only. You know what I'm saying? So if I didn't invite you, don't hit me up. I keep saying it. Do not hit me up to be on the show because I have to invite you. Like everything we do at Rock, you need to be invited. So go ahead.
Corporate Dren has spoken. With that being said, this boss is cut from a different cloth. One that stitched together with hustle, heart, and unshakable love for the culture. Born and raised in Washington, D.C., she's been out here making major moves from the jump. She hit the books hard at Belmont University, Mike's Curb College of Entertainment and Music Business, stacking up accolades like they were going out of style. Congressional Black Caucus Scholar, Washington Post Scholar, FCBA Scholar, Rotary International Scholar. God damn it, you name it, she earned it. But she wasn't just collecting degrees, she was setting herself up to be a force in the game. From her early days grinding at Hot 97 and BET to becoming a legend at talent booker at Complex Network. She always known how to be in the right rooms, making the right plays. Fast forward to now, and she's holding it down as a vice president of marketing at where else? Rock Nation. And when I say she got this marketing thing on lock, I mean she moves with intention. She builds real relationships and she puts together campaigns that don't just sell music, they tell stories. From growing up spending summers in Mississippi, soaking up the magic of music, to earning a basketball scholarship to Syracuse. She had game like that. Before choosing the music biz over the court, she always followed her instincts. And those instincts led her to Rock Nation, where she worked with projects with some of the biggest names in the industry. You heard Rihanna's Lift Me Up from Black Panther, Wakanda Forever? Yeah, that was her. The Book of Clarence, soundtrack with Jay-Z, Doja Cat, and Jova Smith, that was her too. She's been behind the scenes, making sure the world doesn't hear the music, feels it. But what really sets her apart is the way she gives back. She's not just a marketing artist, she's about uplifting people. She's been mentoring and supporting youth in New York, DC, and Nashville, putting in work with organizations like VH1 Save the Music Foundation, Hip Hop for Life. She even got congressional recognition for her service. And last year, she helped New Orleans. How you say that, Queen? What's her name? There you go. She said it herself. I can't say it. She did. Launched the Magnolia Project, giving foster youth in New Orleans the resource they need to thrive. She's all about connection, creativity, and community, making sure the culture moves forward in the right hands. Y'all give it up for the powerhouse herself, Bianca Edwards. Holla at us, Queen. Hey.
Wow.
Holla at us, Queen.
Yo.
What you thought, this was a game?
Damn, I never heard nobody run me down like that.
Hold on, you thought this was a game.
That's beautiful.
You walked through the door when I told you, relax. Huh? We got you, right?
That's crazy.
You with the nation, you with us.
Nah, I love that. I appreciate that, man. Damn.
Look, she's speechless. That's dope.
Damn, yo.
That's dope. That's dope.
Wow, yo, that's crazy.
You wanna know what's the dope thing about when I do these intros? First of all, shout out to Creations by Jay. She helps me with my monologues and stuff like that. The dope shit about it is, you know, you have a bunch of things like when you send the deck out and you really don't know. You know that you did it, but it's like you don't know.
Yeah.
So until a person put the spotlight in the mirror on you, then you be like, damn, this what the fuck I did? Like, I'm really out here.
Yeah, no.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, when I told you, when you was like, yo, I'm kind of nervous, I said, relax, queen. We only having a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we here to celebrate you because you've done stuff for the culture. And it's only right for us to give you your flowers. You dig what I'm saying?
I appreciate that.
Real shit.
That means a lot, yo. You hit me on the invite only. Hey,
Told you.
I'm honored to be here. To be honest with you, anytime I could drink on the job.
Heard you. Heard you. You know what I'm saying?
Take a sip of that.
Not sure if we can do that.
So we should just, you know.
Word. Cheers.
You say so ourselves. What the
Cheers.
fuck?
Word.
We might need to edit that out.
Nah, we good. We good. We chilling.
But no, thank you for having me,
Listen,
yo.
it's just us, queen.
I
You
appreciate
understand what I'm
that.
saying? We here to celebrate you because he'll tell you, right? Like, it's cool. We have a bunch of dudes come here that they successful in their own right and stuff like that. But that's like 180.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it circles 360. You know what I'm saying? You got a yin and yang. When God made me, he said, listen, bro, you can't run this world by yourself. Let me get this rib and let me make you a partner.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? And people need to realize that in this world, there are women shaking the room.
I know a lot of dope shorties. To be honest with you, y'all gotta have more shorties on here.
I ain't got no problem with that. He'll tell you. I'm all for
You know,
women empowerment.
because they behind the scenes really
That's
They always behind the
moving the
scenes.
pieces on the board.
listen.
You know,
What's the strongest piece on the chessboard?
the queen.
All right. You know, some people be coming at me sideways because I'm always pro woman. You know what I'm saying? I came from a woman, a strong woman. My sister's a strong woman. You feel me? So I'm always gonna be pushing that narrative because a lot of times you got insecure dudes out here that won't give their woman their props. I'm the type of dude like when Fab said, man, I don't just pull up, I want you to pull up right beside me. You know what I'm saying? I step back and be like, you see that thing?
Yeah,
You see that thing?
I've been blessed to be mentored, you know, by really strong women throughout my career, throughout my life. I actually thought about it this morning, real clear, conscious stream of thought. I said, damn, yo, I'm grateful. Because a lot of people try to want you to believe that, like, we all against each other, you know? But the truth is, like, I've had some of the best in the game, like, really look out for me. You know, from one of my first bosses at BET, not just about, like, the work, but just, like, I'm going to teach you how to buy a house. You know what I mean? Like, that's different, you know? Like, to, yo, you know, man, my mentors even before I got into the music business, one of my first mentors in high school in D.C., this woman, she put an application on my desk one day. I was just a senior in high school. She was like, it's an application for BET. At the time, I grew up in D.C. BET had a headquarters in D.C. at the time. They used to shoot like Teen Summit and shit like that there. But she gave me an application to DC and was BET and was like, you can't do this until you're a junior in college, so you got some time, but I want you to hold on to this. How crazy is that? 3 years later, when I was a junior in college, I interned at BET. So this was people I didn't even realize they was like prophesying over my life. You know what I mean? Fast forward to my time at Rock Nation, I've had beautiful mentors there. You know, people that have taught me not only just about like marketing, because I came into the Rock Nation situation, believe it or not knowing, I didn't have no experience in marketing. Like, so everything that I'm doing now, I was taught, you know? And that was just a result of somebody seeing something in me and saying, yeah, I could work with this. And that's the beauty of beautiful black women just believing in you and saying, yeah, I could work with this. And they taught me everything from buying a house to how to invest to, man, retirement plans. Just shit that you don't learn in school, man. You know what I mean? You know, my one mentor, man, she all gluten free and shit. Now I ain't that. I ain't all the way there, you know.
We ain't get there yet. We ain't get there yet.
One day.
Yeah.
But I imagine that, you know, we all sitting here together. Y'all had good mentors in y'all life too. Who showed you the way?
Damn, now she's flipping the interview on me. You nice.
Who showed you the way?
Nice with it. My neighborhood, just being born and raised in the Lower East Side, the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it applies to all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, we're not, like you said, we're not taught the right things in school. We're taught the bullshit.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go away to learn, like, what life really was about. Schools, they want to teach you 1 + 1 is 2. Yeah, that's cool, but teach us how to survive. Teach us the real shit. You know what I'm saying? And you don't learn on until you really outside with it. You know what I'm saying? And then you get, like you said, the mentors of the people that you look up to and things like that. But yeah, like, I mean, the streets. You know, my mom did the best she could. Like, my father was murdered when I was 6 years old, so I didn't get to know him. He didn't get to hold my hand and do what fathers really do. You know what I'm saying? Single moms raised in the hood, projects. What could she really teach me? She's a mother.
People stepped up.
Of course. You know what I'm saying? Like,
stepped up.
you know, they stepped up and I was blessed. You know what I'm saying? I learned the way I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm still here. You know what I'm saying? Some people just, they don't make it to our age. Like, you know, earlier we were talking about our ages and things like that, and we're like, wow, we still here though.
Yeah.
There's people that we all grew up with that are no longer here anymore. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, for
I
sure,
take that as a
man.
blessing.
Yeah, for sure.
Real talk.
For sure.
She's looking at me for.
But this interview is about you.
Yeah, we not gonna do that.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. That was
nice.
super cute. You know what I'm saying? Because I could sit here and we could be boo-hooing after we hear each other's shit and all that. But I'm respectfully have to tell you to calm down, right? Because this here about Bianca Edwards,
yo.
not about Tech,
Hey,
and
yo.
not about Dren.
Word.
You feel me? So with that being said, Queen.
But you said this was a conversation.
Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
we having a conversation.
A
But
conversation is a dialogue.
all right,
That's a fact.
so we could play it like that. What you want to know?
I want to know who helped you. What's the
So all right, so listen. The vibe with me is this, right?
Who made you? Who helped make you great?
Listen, I'm a work in progress.
Yeah.
That's first and
Same.
foremost. You know what I'm saying? I haven't reached my greatness yet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel that.
So with that being said, I was fortunate to grow up with a mother and father. A lot of people in my neighborhood didn't have that. You dig what I'm saying? So my father was a typical Dominican man. When I say typical, is because if you think in the hood, a lot of people that come from DR, they open a store. So my father was a bodeguero, like we would say in Spanish,
Okay.
right? So my father had a store in our neighborhood. He got shot, ended up moving to another location and things like that. So my mother used to work in a hospital. They were never at home. So they were never at home. I didn't have nobody to take care of me. So I was in the streets. So everybody knew who my father was, and I was impressionable. Not impressionable in a way where I'm going to sit here and do what everybody else is doing, but I seen my first robbery at 8 years old. And I turned to my father because we was both in McDonald's when it was happening. I'm looking at him like, is this a movie? Because even at that time, I'm still cognizant of what's going on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't have people to watch me. I went to military school. That was a bad decision on my parents' part. Why are we having a conversation about me right now? Get the fuck up out of
You know
here.
what's crazy though?
Nah, we not doing that.
Crazy though? I just went to DR for the first time this past year.
Okay.
I went to DR.
You went to the resort or you went to the hood?
Beautiful experience for you.
I did not go to the resort. I went with my friend who is from the capital.
Oh, you went to the capital.
She was in the hood.
That's Dykeman.
Yeah.
You went to
she was in the
Dykeman.
hood.
I was outside.
Oh, you was in Dykeman.
Basically.
Because that's what the capital is.
But
Dykeman.
I went all over. I went to Puerto Plata.
Oh yeah. You was outside with the whores and all that.
I went from the capital to Puerto Plata. Yep. Then I went to
Punta Cana. Yeah. You was with the resorts. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a resort
living.
section.
Yep. But I had
living.
a time, honestly.
Listen.
You know the crazy thing about DR is, the dopest parties was just like pulling up on the sidewalk.
The hood.
Queen,
yeah,
you want
yeah,
to
yeah.
tell you want
Just
you know
like
one thing I'm gonna
beers
tell
out
you.
the trunk.
You know what I'm gonna tell you.
Presidentes.
Yo, B, you wanna know what's crazy? And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you think back in what you experienced. You got dudes living in shacks.
Mm-hmm.
You got people living with dead ass. When it rains, water's coming down.
Yeah.
In they motherfucking spot, right?
I had a chicken in their
Look.
living room.
Check it though. Happy as a motherfucker.
Happy as a motherfucker.
7 o'clock in the morning, drinking Presidente. Yo, what we doing today? Motherfuckers in New York,
Yeah.
wake up miserable.
Yeah.
Got all the amenities
Yeah.
right here and be miserable. Tell me what the fuck is wrong with this world.
I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
don't
But still, just stop. This about you. You trying to be slick.
I'm just trying to get to know you.
Nah,
I'm
we
trying to
not
get to
doing
know
that.
you. I'm trying,
Nah, because at the end of the day, Queen, I need you to understand. They see us. I need people to see you. I need people that identify with you and see you and be like, yo, if she did that, I could do that. So stop your bullshit.
That's crazy. Wow.
Nah, don't crazy. That's how I give it up.
Like, that's wild.
That's how I give it up.
I ain't had
My
nobody talk to me like
apologies.
that in a while.
You know what I mean?
Period.
My apologies, but not really, but you know what I'm saying? So look,
Go ahead. Go.
I want to start
Okay.
the way you grew up. Family, your household dynamic, parents, siblings, things like that. How did you grow
Your
up?
upbringing.
Yeah, my upbringing. I grew up in D.C. My father was a Navy man. I was born in Chicago. My sister was born in Connecticut. We bounced around because he was in the Navy. But when my parents got separated, we stayed in D.C. and he moved to Florida. And I, typical, me and my sister, my moms, I watched my moms work mad jobs just to keep it together, keep it tight. But I grew up in a household, just my family, I love black families. I love the vibe. If you put on a playlist and just title it Family Function, you know what I mean? What's on that playlist? Like a little Frankie Beverly and Maze.
You make me happy.
You know what I mean? That was the sound of my upbringing. You feel me? It was beautiful. I think the thing that stood out the most was my summers I spent in Mississippi with my aunt. It's my mother's baby sister. And she was like my muse. I really looked up to her. She was young and energetic. I don't know why my mother would leave me with her, to be honest.
Hindsight, right?
But we had a good time. Shit, she didn't wake up till 12 o'clock. By the time she got up, she was like a ball of energy. She was like, what we doing today? We spent a lot of time in salons. You know what I mean? And just if you know black culture, hair is a big part of black culture.
It's like the barbershop.
Barbershop, hair salon. So I, as a youth, just being able to sit in that environment and hear those conversations, I was just like, nah, this is fire, And my aunt was real big on cars, so there was car culture too, speakers and systems and all of that vibe. And the best part about it is that she ain't really had no rules. So, you know, typically a kid my age would be on the back seat, probably in a booster seat with a seatbelt on. She was just like, yo, get in the front, threw the CD book in my lap. It was like, yo, pick something. And I would be flipping through the CD book, and I would, like, land on something, and she'd be like, nah, not that. And I go through, I pick something else. She be like, all
What
right.
you was picking? What you was picking?
Man, we was in the SIP, so it was a lot of like 8-ball,
SIP.
MG,
You hear this shit?
MGK.
That's some country shit
You
right
know what I'm
there.
saying? It was like 8-ball and MJG.
Ooh.
It was a lot of Pimp C. It was a lot of like David Banner, but she went coast to coast with it. So it was a lot of Pac. She loved Pac, but she also loved Biggie. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Like, and the beautiful thing about it is that whenever there was a long outro on a record, my aunt would start freestyling. And I was young. I was probably like 7 or 8. And I would just like look at her, and she would just be like, me and my niece in the front seat, riding to the, like, I don't even know, like,
Yeah.
but it was just,
It was a vibe.
It was a vibe.
It was a vibe.
So,
Let me find out you got a rapper in you, man, because
Listen.
you was just
Nah.
on cap with the whole shit right now.
chill.
Fuck is you talking about?
you gotta chill.
Yeah.
So that was a beautiful part, because then I would go back to DC, like, and I'd be like, yo, y'all ain't heard this?
You was turned.
And I was playing songs for my friends that they hadn't heard. And the beautiful thing about it is that my aunt was so up on game that by the summertime, whatever she had put me on to that I was bringing back, by the summertime, it was the biggest record out, you know? So then my friends started being like, hey, yo, what's next? Like, they started looking to me like I was the GOAT. But really, I just had to, you know what I mean?
You had the plug.
I had the plug. So that was beautiful. That was probably like 6 summers. 6 summers of just going back and forth. And that really shaped my adolescence. My aunt taught me confidence. She taught me rhythm. She taught me good taste in music. And my dad, being a Navy man, taught me structure and discipline. You know what I mean? Sports taught me that too. By the time I reached high school in D.C., I ended up going to one of the best girls basketball teams in D.C. They, you know, my freshman year, they had won the championship. Before that, honestly, I was there 4 years. They won a championship 3 out of the 4 years. So these was girls that was ballers.
You was point?
And I was a forward.
Okay.
I was a forward. But yeah, so I was really I remember this girl named Tree. She was one of the best girls in the city. As a freshman, she like cornered me in my locker and was like, yo, what's your name? I was like, whoa. I was like, Bianca. She was like, you gonna try out for the team? I was like, nah. Because I was really into music, you know? And she was like, what? She was like, nah, you tripping. If you gonna go to this school and you gonna be this tall, you gonna come. So that was a beautiful thing. Like, you know, sometimes you don't really know your path. There's like people that kind of like see you before you even see yourself. So I joined the team. I played ball. And the beautiful thing about it is that even though I wasn't the best player on the court, I've always been a leader. And even some of the girls who were some of the top players in the city, 30 points per game. And, you know, it's niggas that don't even hit 30 points per game. Those girls was all like, you know, if I said something, they would do it. Mm-hmm. So my coach used that to his advantage and was just like, listen, you the captain. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. It's interesting not being the best player on the team, but still
the captain.
Still
Absolutely.
being the captain, you know? And that
the glue.
Struggling with that juxtaposition though on the inside. Because sometimes, you know, I don't know if y'all felt this way, we getting a little deep, but you know, sometimes, you know, it's imposter syndrome, right? Where you showing up every day and people see this light in you and you don't even see it in yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that was high school for me. My athletic director and my music director kind of had a little back and forth about what my future looked like. And I struggled with it too. My athletic director wanted me to play D1 basketball at Syracuse. My music director wanted me to study music business at Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. I was just a black girl from D.C. trying to get out of D.C.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
What is it that you wanted to do?
What was it that I wanted to do? I wanted to do music. I was deep in the music situation. But sports is such a team thing. Like, you don't want to let people down. You know what I mean? It's like the sum of all parts. It's about the thing that's greater than you. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want to let nobody down. But truth be told, like the two-a-days and the film and the traveling.
Shit is a lot.
It's a lot. And that on top of like a collegiate career, that it's a lot. That's why shout out to all the college like athletes. I'm working with Flaw J now, and even just like when I first met her,
LSU,
and she ran down her schedule, like I was just blown away. I was just like, damn, that's crazy that you do all of that.
And she's still trying to rap.
Yo. And an impeccable artist, and she dedicated to everything. Like, but I knew my senior year of high school, I knew that I wanted to go in one direction over the other, and so I kind of wavered a little bit. I kind of I guess straddled the line until I was just like, I gotta go with my heart. And so even though it was past the deadlines, after decision time, I had started getting books and gear from Syracuse. I called Belmont and was like, if y'all still have me, y'all match this scholarship, I'll come. And they matched it.
Fire.
And they matched it on the academic side. So that's the thing. Like, you don't even know if you got leverage if you ask. You never know until you ask. So I definitely leveraged an athletic scholarship into an academic one, and I went to Belmont and studied music business.
That's super fire.
Yeah.
And the crazy part, right, is just like you said right now. It's similar to we had a interview prior. People talk about, yo, I got in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
You only getting what you put in for.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't sign on the dotted line and you tell your lawyer, listen, this is not what I want.
Yeah, it's always room to negotiate.
You can't, if you're not trying, the first deal that somebody hit you with, if you look at it and be like, oh, nah, I don't like it, fuck it, I'm going to sign it. You ain't negotiate that shit. Mm-hmm. So you don't even know how far you could have went on that deal. Mm-hmm. Or what you could have put in your favor. Mm-hmm. So that right there is, because a lot of people in your position, especially what, you 18 at that time?
I was 18 at the time.
They're not even thinking on that level.
Yeah. I was different. I was different. Thank you for reading off some of those the scholarly stuff. I think that everybody wants to know how many Grammys I got, or how many number ones I've worked on, or how many lists I've been on, and all the things. But I take a lot of pride in how over a decade ago, so many brands, so many people, so many companies picked me out of a needle in a haystack and said, now we're going to invest in you.
Let's get to that.
Real early.
Let's get to that.
Early,
because
yeah.
the whole point of that is to get to what you're saying right now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people would have took that athletic scholarship. Mm-hmm. A lot of people wouldn't have took their dream to be able to say, yo, all right, I got this, but I'm gonna finesse this.
Nah, I finessed it. I finessed.
You know what I'm saying?
But I had
You had somebody in your ear at that time, or because you mentioned that you had a teacher come to you and give you that application, right?
Right.
Obviously, they seen something in you.
Yeah, I started a talent show in my high school.
Let's get to it. Yeah, there you go.
We didn't have a talent show, and I knew it was a couple singers. I knew it was a couple rappers. I knew that I was into music real heavy, so I asked I was real cool with the school administration, you know. Just, you know, the coolest kid on the block. And I walked in the office and was just like, yo, can I get the auditorium on this day at this time? And they was like, for what? And I was like, I want to do a talent show. And they was like, all right, Bianca. And I got everybody out of class, the whole school. And I hosted a talent show. And I held auditions for it and everything. And
Fire.
It was beautiful. So people knew that I was really into the music situation. At the time, I was doing little things around the city, but it was, people knew. And yeah, so I started, my school had like vocationals, almost like colleges had majors. So there was a whole barbershop in my high school, and it was like for the students who was into cosmetology. We had a whole TV and film studio for the students who wanted to go that route. That was my route, right? We had a whole like industry standard kitchen, like chef kitchen, and it was for the people who wanted to go into hospitality. This was like, you know, I think that all schools should have that. But the beautiful thing about my school is that they introduced kids really early into like career paths, and they got to like exercise those career paths. So I was on a TV and film track. I honestly was really into music. I used the TV and film to use the like recording booths and cameras and all of that stuff. But yeah, I had this teacher who she submitted me for a conference, like World Conference for Children in Music and Media, and she sent me to South Africa when I was 16. And I got to South Africa, and I met this conference, and I started talking about music, and all of these young kids kind of created like a cipher. We was in a circle, and all of these South African kids just started rapping, singing, all like it was just a vibe. And it turned into a whole movie, like literally, like, and I got back from South Africa and I was just so inspired. I was just like, yo, we don't even have to speak the same language, but music is universal, you know what I mean? And then this like Supreme Court Justice Judge Morgales, he came into the school. He really came into the school with the initiative of helping our community enhance our vocabulary. So he wanted to like put dictionaries in the school, wanted to make sure reading material, different stuff like that was in the school. Because we had a library, but we ain't had no books. So crazy. Like we had a whole library, it was like the whole floor of the school. But there wasn't no books in it. It was just like where you would hold like meetings. You know what I mean? There wasn't no books in there. So this Supreme Court Justice Judge Morgales, he came in with the intention of like buying books and buying dictionaries, and he met me, and you know, the way things turned out, he ended up sending me to Paris as an exchange student. And so I spent my whole year at 17 as an exchange student in Paris. I'm painting a picture because I want you to know that by 18, I wasn't the average black girl from D.C. that was a senior in high school. I was like a world travel, like very focused, like future music executive.
Please talk your shit.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I can't talk my shit.
Please talk your shit.
But I'm just saying, like,
that's why when it
boiled down to
like,
shit. Thank you. So when it boiled down to my athletic director wanting me to focus on a career or go down the path of like playing ball, I was so far removed from that. that I had committed to it, but in my heart I had never committed to it. I really knew. It just was a matter of me believing it, you know. And it was a matter of me convincing myself that, like, Nashville, I was like, what's in Nashville, you know? That was tough for me.
No disrespect to Tennessee.
No disrespect, because you know what? I got
it's all
loved
good.
ones in
Don't worry about it.
Tennessee
There's
now,
no disrespect
you know?
to Tennessee.